frankly. They haven't drawn all season. This will appeal to American sports fans, of course. They just don't do ties. So, yeah, they're sixth in the table. And they had a rough start, but are finding more form now. Everyone seems to be doing that when we've come up against them. This is a big week for Wrexham. 3 hard games for us. So they line up with Jacob Chapman in goal. Central defenders Matthew Pearson, Tom Lees and Nigel Lonvike. The wing-backs Ollie Turton and Mikael Miller. In midfield, David Kasumu will anchor Herbie Kane and Ben Wiles. And they will have 2 up front. Bojan Radulkovic and Callum Marshall. It's intriguing, and it's just the sort of tests that we wanted, isn't it? Huddersfield, relegated last season from the Championship, have got some nice looking players in their squad. They've got in some good loan players as well, but Wrexham in fine form and strong at home. A win today would be our 10th consecutive home league win. Best since the 1930s, the early 1930s. So, as the teams come out, let's see how they do. Adam Herteg is the referee. Wrexham in their usual home kit, red shirts, white shorts, white socks. Huddersfield are wearing warm-up tracksuits. But I can tell you they've got dark blue shorts on. If that's what matters to you, then there you go. Don't forget you can get in touch using the hashtag AskWrexham, ASKWXM. And, well, here we go. Another night, a big night under the floodlights for Wrexham. 160 years on from when the club was founded. 3rd oldest club in the world, and proud of it. Let's see if we can celebrate in style. Certainly the atmosphere is terrific, and Huddersfield are noisy too. This could be fun. Yeah, Huddersfield, quite like their away kit. It's sort of navy blue in the middle, dark green sleeves, and Chapman, their skipper, the goalkeeper, is going up to have a feel of the ball. Wow, it's loud today. It's loud. This is going to be a spicy one if Wrexham are able to hit their usual heights at home games. Ryan Barnes, of course, there's a player to keep an eye on. Last home game against Northampton, I mean, he was just ludicrously good. Absolutely sensational. He was excellent at Rotherham as well. He's got some form to keep up. And, of course, Paul Mullin. That 16-second goal, which is, I've checked back, definitely the fastest goal we scored this century. It's going to be tricky going back to find evidence of exactly when goals were scored. As the crowd react immediately to the toss, Huddersfield have turned us around. So we'll be kicking towards the Stoke Cold Brew end at the first half. Dan Scarr lingered to applaud all the Wrexham fans behind that goal, and we are nearly ready to go. I'm delighted that Andy and Mia have sprinted up from pitch side to join me, and unchanged team is the first thing. The battering Andy Cannon took, I wondered whether he'd be out there today, but good to see that he's okay.
Yeah, he was the only one. I think, I was probably thinking that there could be a change. I thought Ollie Rathbone did really well when he came on in that second half. It wasn't an easy game to come into, but I thought he handled himself really well, put in a really good shift for the side. But yeah, unchanged. I think that was pretty expected in the end, and should be a really good game tonight, Mark. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And as well, Mullin. I mean, he must be exhausted. He was virtually on his knees at the end of the game, but he'll be, as he starts the game off, he'll be keen to get involved, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He won't have kicked the ball hardly in the last 2 days, I would have thought. Just pure recovery and look to the next game. He'll get his fitness now from the matches rather than the training that he's been. He's ready. He proved that on Saturday, and he'll just want to play as many minutes as he can. As
Huddersfield launch a long ball over the top, far too long, and Scarr has plenty of time on the edge of his area to deal with that. Wrexham, like I said, kicking towards the Stoke Cold Brew end. Long clearance by Okonkwo. Mullin battling for it. The referee says he's fouled Lonvike. the Dutch central defender. Free kick. Yeah, Huddersfield are all or nothing. They don't do draws. It's either win or lose. Very, very sort of American sports attitude. They don't do ties. As Lonwijk is going to leave this for the keeper, Chapman. You've been kept busy, you guys, on the Matchday Live. The stream of ex-players coming down.
There's been proper legends flying in and flying out down there. It's been brilliant. Great to hear some stories from the past players, and especially Geraint. You know, he's had his say on how the club was formed. It's just fascinating to listen to him.
Oh, fantastic. As the free kick comes in, Scar deals with that. Palmer tries to take it under control. Pearson gets a toe in. And it's Turton, the one change in their side, getting it back to the keeper. Mullen gets close and forces him to hurry a long clearance. Comfortably won in the air by O'Connor. And Dobson tidying up in midfield. The customary round of applause for his tidying. As Turton knocks it forwards towards Marshall. Headed clear by Scar. Both sides just look to tame the ball at the moment, to get it down and try and use it. Huddersfield might have a chance to lay us off now. Referee's played an advantage because Cannon took his man out. And now it's Miller. Cutting inside, 25 yards out. Wrexham present a crowded defence around the D, and he goes wide instead. Pearson with the early ball, and it's too strong. It picked up on the right-hand side, and I was wondering whether it might be driven along by Barnett to send Mullen away. He's let it roll for the throw. But yeah, Huddersfield, a side that got relegated last season, just like Rotherham, and a side that have got some good additions this season. Lonwijk pulling at Palmer's shirt, heads it clear. Dobson under pressure, loops it across to the left-hand side. Good first touch by O'Connor, allows him to drive to the halfway line. Lee is scampering in front of him, demanding the ball, and he receives it now. He has to go backwards. Dobson working it out wide. Cute little 1-2 between O'Connor and McLean. This is nice passing by Wrexham as Lee pirouettes and goes running at the back line. Works it wide. McLean has time to measure across here. Hits the goal line, chips it backwards, and the volley is blocked. Cannon struck it well from the edge of the box. A good block. The ball's played back in straight to the keeper. Nice snappy passing that through the middle.
Yeah, really nice passage of play from Wrexham. Shows what happens when Elliot Lee gets on the ball. He's so good in those little areas where he can just find those little pockets of space and knock it about inside there, and then out wide to James McLean, who finds Andy Cannon really nicely, and you just sort of fancy him in that sort of area, and he catches it well, to be fair to him.
Yeah, it was a good tackle on the flank by Barnes. It was a good strike by Cannon, and it was on target. We can see we were right behind it. Good block there in the goal mouth though. And now Wrexham have it back again. Good fast start by Wrexham then. There's O'Connell on the right-hand side in his own half. Huddersfield have committed 3 men up to press. A fourth steps up just to watch Dobson. But Wrexham are happy to move the ball around at the back. Okonkwo now. Barnes and the two strikers are high up for pushing that Huddersfield defence back. And Scar looks for a long diagonal for Palmer. Doesn't quite get it right. Goes through to the keeper. And now Lonwijk will start again. Worked across the right-hand side. Wrexham drop off again into that mid-block that they're so comfortable with and that we've become so familiar with. As Huddersfield just happy to move the ball around. Lees and Pearson just exchanging passes. Kasumu in midfield, goes scurrying forwards. That's good work. Gets beyond the strikers, overruns it. Good foot in by Dobson. It'll be retrieved on the left-hand side. And they start again. Herbie Kane on the halfway line. Ex-Liverpool trainee. It sounds good that he was on the Golden Boy, I love the name of that trophy, shortlist with Alexander Arnold. But it was a short list of 100, which I think is stretching the definition of the word short. As still they patiently move the ball around. Radulkovic has popped it backwards again. Lonwijk, yeah, they want to tempt Wrexham out, don't they? They want Wrexham to come out and press and make some space in between lines.
Yeah, Wrexham are going nowhere though.
Yeah.
They are happy in there. They're happy for the three centre halves to have the ball. They can move it around. They can bounce it into midfield and bounce it back. But once they look into play into the front two or the highest midfielder, that's when they'll pounce.
And in the end, as so often happens when Wrexham are patient like that, Turton gets impatient, tries to play a long, incisive pass, and now Wrexham have it back. Okonkwo drills it long. Palmer in the air, backing into Pearson. Did really well, Pearson, to win that. Dobson trying to control his header. It ricochets to O'Connor. And now he is Elliot Lee again in those little pockets on the left that he likes to pick up. Huddersfield immediately swarm round him, but a good switch by Dobson and a good receive by Cannon. He tries to play the difficult pass to put Barnett in behind and doesn't find him, but Cannon gets a foot in on the edge of the area, and has he drawn a foul? Referee says no. Wrexham still scrapping. Palmer's done well, and that's a great ball to Barnett. First chance to cross, stands it to the far post for McLean. Oh, just too high for him. Not sure if McLean slightly misjudged that then. It looked like he had time to readjust and didn't. O'Connor feeds it inside. An attempt by Lee to spin it round the corner doesn't work. And now Huddersfield will try to bring it back. Dobson pressing high up the pitch though. Longvik having to go long looking for Marshall. Well taken. Oh, Scar intercepted. Miscontrolled. And there was an attempt by Miller to feed Marshall one-on-one with the keeper. Scar intercepted that as well and put it out.
Yeah, just got caught in two minds whether to bring it down or to clear it. Just a heavy touch, just presented it to Miller. He's looked for the through ball, but again, Scar ready, alert enough to just put it out for a throw-in.
So it's Longvik, about 30 yards out, left-hand side. He's spade in towards the edge of the area. Cannon and Kasumu go up for it, and the foul's given to Wrexham. It's slightly generous, perhaps, that Wrexham take it quickly, looking to send Mullin away. And it's calmly dealt with by Lees, who squares the ball onto Pearson. I felt that was the sort of free kick the defensive sides get, you know, bit of a 50-50. Drops to a striker on the edge of the box. Ref doesn't want to make a controversial call. As Wrexham, again in that mid-block, inviting Huddersfield onto them. I warn you, Mia, I will make you talk about your heroic performance in the penalty shootout on Sunday. As Kasumu's been very busy trying to drive forwards from the deep position in midfield, overruns it. Good tackle by Barnett. Palmer helps it on. Cannon, nice short passing by Wrexham on the right. Now Barnett can use his pace, and he puts Mullin one-on-one. Scrambling across, Lee's just got the sole of his boot to it and squeezed it away, or Mullin was through. But Barnett again, so threatening. Long clearance, handled comfortably by Scar. Here's O'Connor now. Rolls it to the halfway line. McLean pops it off. Dobson threads a good ball to Palmer. He works it backwards. There's lots of space for O'Connor. Now Barnett has pulled Longvik back. Challenge maybe in a foul on O'Connell. Ref gave a good advantage there and then gives it.
Yeah, he did really well. Left it a second or two more just to see what happened if when Barnett got it. His round the corner didn't quite work, so he just brings it back. Good refereeing.
So free kick to Wrexham. O'Connell is on it, 10 yards into Huddersfield's half, right hand side. And we've got Palmer and Mullin up on the edge of the area. We've hardly sent forwards the big men, to be honest. And well, O'Connell wasn't actually sure. Maybe he noticed the same thing. He does play it in towards the edge of the box. Palmer is there, gets up too early though, he's unlucky. It should bounce through for a goal kick, and it does. So Mia, late equaliser for a 3-3 draw in the Cup against your big rivals in the league. Penalty shootout. What goes through your mind when you're stepping up?
Well, I actually missed one against them for when I was with Wrexham a few years ago in the Cup, so it was sort of redemption time on Sunday. I'm not sure what the weather was like with the women's team with Wrexham on Sunday, but it was absolutely blowing a gale in Llandudno. But yeah, luckily enough, we managed it and through to the next round. Hopefully, maybe a little draw with Wrexham. You never know.
I always want to compare it to Stuart Pearce, but the redemption penalty, I love that. That's a nice twist. Here's Barnett now on the right-hand side. O'Connell doesn't fancy the back pass for Dulkowski. Just cut that off. Now Marshall is giving him problems. Gets a foot in on him on the goal line, and O'Connell has to squeeze it out for a throw by the corner flag.
Yeah, I don't know if the pass was on to Arthur there. It looked from this angle like it was. But I know the Huddersfield striker was cutting it off slightly, but I think Owen O'Connell there, just sort of trust your keeper in that situation.
Yeah, I agree. But I guess if he hesitates for a moment, every second that pass is getting closer to not being on, and he hesitated, didn't he? So, yeah. Now it's pushing the back of Miller by Cannon. He complains, but it's pretty blatant. Free kick 35 yards out on the left. Kane very quick to come across and spot her up, but he's not going to take her early. So Miller's on it. Good spell of pressure this by Huddersfield. Wrexham hold a line on the edge of the box. And Wrexham, of course, have been very mean at the back this season too. It's been crucial. You know, we've looked at goal scoring feats, but yeah, it's been absolutely crucial the way that we've been able to rack up the clean sheets. Here's a test of our defence now. Lots of movement in from the flank. It's curled in nastily and bobbles about. Good foot in by Palmer. The Huddersfield fans wanted a whistle for high kicking then, but the players didn't, and it's run out for a throw to Wrexham.
Yeah, he did think that he was, when he was just leaning back to put his head, if he nicks it with his head, possibility of a penalty's coming, but he drew his head away. The little toe managed to clear the danger, and McLean just swept up around him to get the throw in.
Palmer gets it well from the throw in, but Huddersfield get it back, not for long. Poor ball forwards, another throw to Wrexham, about 15 yards out. Like I said, remember you can get in touch on Ask Wrexham, hashtag ASKWXM on Twitter. If you want to chat about anything about the game or otherwise. Palmer heads the ball on. Kane again knocks it over the top. Scar lets it bounce, but he heads it square to O'Connor, who knocks off his man to win a goal kick. Huddersfield making it hard to get out against them, though, aren't they? They're pushing players up the pitch, just challenging Wrexham to pass it around them.
Yeah, just a bit of hesitation between the centre halves and the goalkeeper. Really needs a real clear shout from Okonkwo. I think if O'Connor's running back there, he heads it up in the air a little bit. Okonkwo can just come and claim it with no problem, but it just puts himself under pressure by not communicating right.
Now Okonkwo's goal kick goes through. Mullin can't quite win it. Palmer fights away, and it's volleyed clear in the end by Turton. Rakuljevic has not been able to hold on to the ball though. McLean picks it up and finds O'Connor, who with no real options is back to Okonkwo. High line by Huddersfield, pushing up to the halfway line again. Okonkwo picks up Mullin in the air. Pearson heads it clear. Cannon squares it. O'Connor, a little volley down the line. Lee will have to go backwards once more. Wrexham again protecting possession and trying to move Huddersfield around. Cannon and Barnett interchange, and it's knocked over the top by O'Connor, looking for Mullin. Just too much on it. He acknowledges the idea, but it bounces through to the keeper.
Yeah, nice bit of movement just there. The ball comes across to O'Connell, and Barnett is pinning his man right at the top, Miller, and he runs inside the pitch for Cannon to then move into his space on the outside. Definitely a pattern of play that they've worked on in training, and it's worked numerous times, hasn't it, over the season before. You can just see the trigger for when O'Connell takes his touch. They rotate round and create that space for each other.
Scar now knocking it long. Pearson will head it back into the Wrexham half with power, but not with accuracy. Nearly picks out the linesman. Throw into Wrexham. About 30 yards out from their own goal, left-hand side. Still no score here. 15th minute. Great atmosphere, though, from both fans.
Oh, it's brilliant before the game. The noise that the Huddersfield fans were chanting. Wrexham fans going back at them. Really noisy. Could hardly hear ourselves talking. Coming on the Match Day Live.
Yeah, Phil Parkinson spoke about it in his little pre-match pitch side, how he loves, and the players absolutely love getting up for these Tuesday nights under the lights. You know, there's always a different sense of atmosphere.
As O'Connor snaps him with an important clearance. Palmer can't get to it though. Lonvik helps her on. Barnett battling with Miller. He does well in the end. Two men on him. Manages to squeeze it backwards to O'Connell. And Wrexham build from the back once more. O'Connor down the line. Volleyed clear by Pearson. That's a nice little take by Rakuljevic, but the free kick given. Elliot Lee claims that in trying a little Zidane turn, he tripped over his own feet there, but the referee doesn't agree, and it's taken quickly. Turton now, driving down the right-hand side. Good ball in. Scar with a good header. Barnett volleys it clear. Mullin on the chase. Lonvik should beat him to it, but he invites trouble, and Mullin smacks it against him for the throw. Lonvik gets a little short arm jab in on Mullin. He doesn't respond, but Is he getting under his skin a little bit? Chasing him down all the time?
Oh, really good work by Mullin, though. That's exactly what you want as a striker. A bit of a, difficult ball to bring down, and he, wins something from it and gets us up the pitch.
Longback comes away with the ball from the throw-in. Dobson, well, Lee rather, does well, recovers from a miscontrol. Wrexham having to work hard here. Huddersfield's energetic without the ball. Scar, in the end, back to Okonkwo. And now here's Okonkwo on the ball again, going long. This time he's managed to pick up Palmer, who backs in and flicks it on well, but Longvik reads it. Barnett tackles him. Now only Mullins ahead of him. Barnett through the middle, driving into a crowd, gets in the box, hits a shot. Magnificent save. The keeper will have seen it late. It went through a defender's legs, but Chapman pushed it around for a corner. Brilliant from Barnett again. Quick corner as well now. It's fed backwards to the corner of the box. Ball swept in by Dobson, and an important header to put it behind for the corner as Palmer was lurking. Great stuff that.
Brilliance from Barnett. He just goes for goal, straight down the middle, goes for the throat, a little drop the shoulders, and then somehow gets a little good strong toe to it as he gets into the box. Keeper, brilliant save down to his right. Like you say, take another corner. Ollie Palmer just ready to knock it in, but a great defensive header over the top of his goal for the corner.
So another corner. Wrexham suddenly upping the pace. Referee is stopping this one. He's seen something in the 6-yard box he wants to intervene over. But Wrexham really starting then to threaten the goal. What a save that was. Full stretch by Chapman. It was arrowing into the bottom left corner. It'd have been a heck of a goal. So here we go. O'Connor gets the go-ahead from the ref. Huge crowds in the 6-yard box. Keeper takes a position quite far postish. Ball swept in front of him, but headed away well. It's a great header. Fans tell Dobson to shoot. Instead, he launches it early, straight back to O'Connor, who flees it inside nicely to McLean. Out wide, Barnett can cross. Sweeps to the far post. Oh, good header, clear. Again, defended well. Lee's this time. Wrexham still with the ball, though. Elliot Lee feeding it into the box. Palmer flicks a return pass, and it's a good tackle going to ground by Turton to hook it out of play. Good tempo, good intense pressure this.
Yeah, really nice play from Wrexham. Not just trying to hoof it back into the box, not forcing things. Tom O'Connor does really well initially on this right-hand side. Really calm, composed play to get out to Barnett, who puts in a lovely ball. Just can't quite get that header on target.
McLean now swings it in right-footed. Barnett's after that, just beaten to it by Miller. O'Connell in midfield, not a good pass. Dobson does brilliantly to tackle, win it back and ping the ball over to McLean. He's got 4 players attacking the box, takes on his man, crosses to the far post, and it's headed behind by Miller as Barnett was tearing in at the far post, and the crowd loving this now.
Top work from Dobson. The pass is a little bit astray, but he manages to make it his, and then a brilliant little sidewinder, like zing out to McLean. McLean just out of his feet puts it in the box, and again Barnett, those 2 wing backs right high up to each other, and just again headed, defending well. Both teams defending both boxes really well.
Here comes another corner from O'Connor again. The keeper a little bit trapped in at the far post, has played beyond that though, and headed back in the goal mouth by Scar, but he doesn't get the right contact. He claims it's a corner. Referee's not interested. Goal kick. But wow, Huddersfield will be glad to weather that storm, because we were really knocking at the door, weren't we?
Yeah, Wrexham got the tails up. A little bit of momentum. Crowder on side now. Seen that the effort, the speed, the tempo that Wrexham are playing at. Both teams, to be fair, are playing at a similar tempo. It's a really good game, first 20 minutes.
Yeah, and the referee is getting a card out here. Huddersfield taking an age over the corner. Longvik looked like he was going to take it and then pushed it with his hand to the keeper, and the ref has booked Longvik. You don't want, when you're on the side where Barnett is, really, to be on a yellow early on. He's on the full-back, but Barnett will cut inside and have a go at him.
Especially over something silly like that as well. I think Michael Duff will be furious with that at half-time, I'm sure. But if you're Ryan Barnett now, you're thinking, right, I'm getting at him.
Oh, a ricochet favours Huddersfield. A chance now for the cross. It's a poor one. Scar again deals with it. Palmer now halfway back in his own half, holds it up well on the left, but his pass back to McLean isn't accurate. Throw into Huddersfield about 25 yards out on the right.
The press from both front pairs in both teams is is really good to watch. You know, the two boys for Huddersfield, every time the centre-half gets it, that one of them's going, and then Wiles from behind them is making the 3 for 3.
Cross comes in, easy header clear for Scar. Cannon flicks it on. Mullen just beaten to it by Lees, who surges forwards, and a teammate rather gets in his way. Lees done well to feed it forwards. Mullen using his body, holding off his man, feeds it in for Palmer, and he would have put him in against the last defender had Longvik not done so well. And then Cannon is penalised, and I can see Cannon's point. He hit Miller from behind, but Miller seemed to rather stop in his tracks and invite the contact. But it stops that attack for Wrexham.
Yeah, it's clever play from Miller in the end. Just looks over his shoulder, sees Cannon, knows that little bit of contact's going to come and just plays on it. And in the end wins the foul.
So, free kick in midfield. Nice and asked Wrexham to see it. Wrexham Air is here, enjoying beer and football. Ball played long. And on the left-hand side, Miller trying to jink through. Good work by O'Connell. His pass puts Cannon under pressure. He's lost it. Kane over hits his cross. Easy for Okonkwo to take. Lee is making a run for him to throw it, but Okonkwo's going to go long. So Okonkwo dropping it on the floor. Hits it right-footed. Palmer against Longvik. And he wins it well. Good work cover by Miller to head it partly away. Palmer beats Longvik again in the air. And then Dobson looks to head it on, but there's no one through the middle because Mullen had gone wide looking for the flick on. And as a result, Huddersfield have it again. On Arse Wrexham, Jan Lewis says Barney's just incredible. Yeah, he's in magnificent form. And the wonderful thing is, you know, lately people have been saying to me, oh, will we hang on to him? Well, it won't be through lack of money that we don't hang on to him, will it? Let's be honest. So the ball spread by Huddersfield to the right-hand side. Turton immediately closed down by McLean. Good footwork to just nick inside, outside him. Feeds down line. Marshall feeds it back to Turton coming inside. His touch just lets him down, but it's still neat build-up play until McLean coming in narrow gets involved. He can't hang on to the ball, though. Huddersfield on the halfway line again, looking for gaps. Michael Duff points that he wants it down the left, and it is to Miller, who works it inside. Nice triangle. Good ball up to the feet of the target man, but he's dispossessed, and Barnett squares it to Cannon. Radulkovic just not making the ball stick. But Palmer, well, fans are complaining, but a chip onto the top of Palmer's head, and there's much more he could do than that. It's given away by Huddersfield at the back though, and Cannon quickly feeds Lee 35 yards out. Mullen ahead of him. Lee cuts inside instead, prods it to Cannon. Barnett wants it early. Cannon always provides it early for him, and now Barnett has got Miller isolated. Sweeps across on the far post. McLean again. Oh, I think the defender did well there, Turson. Just managed to back into him and mean that he couldn't get in contact. And now Huddersfield looks to come away again. Wiles under pressure. Lee slides in with a good challenge, and it spins out to Cannon 40 yards out. Wrexham protecting the ball carefully. O'Connell now in the centre circle. Huddersfield trying to get out as Wrexham go back to Okonkwo. And Okonkwo chipping it. He's picking Palmer out more now, but Longvik, well, I think got pushing it back by Palmer. Nothing given. It's cleared by Miller. O'Connor underneath it wins that well. And then good work by Cannon, beating the much taller Rakulkovic to it in the air. O'Connor into Dobson in the middle of the pitch. Sweeping it to O'Connell. Cannon gestures he wants it over the top. He plays over the top. Mullen on the chase. Lees should get there first, but with Mullen tight on him, he has to concede a throw in. The beauty of Mullen, you can just feed stuff to, and he'll just hassle players like that, win a throw in, which now has Barnett with his fancy footwork trying to mesmerise Miller. He feeds Cannon, and it looked like Longvik may have gone in through the back of him. Throw given to Wrexham. Barnett with the ball in his hands. Cannon is short. Throws it into the box. Nice run by Mullen. The throw doesn't find him, but Longvik put it out for a throw in 10 yards further forwards by the corner flag. Barnett again. Cannon back to him. Barnett, ball inside, rather hits Cannon. I think he's looking for Mullen. And although Mullen appeals for a corner, it never was. It's starting to look, Bryce. It's hard to find space in their half, mind, isn't it?
It's frantic, isn't it? The pace of this game is frightening. Huddersfield have defended their box really well. Wrexham have put a few corners in, a few crosses from Barnett as well. And they've defended them really well, especially the one with McLean coming in the back post just then. He's been dangerous from there. He's scored from that position. Ollie Turton just knows where he is and just eases him away out of danger.
Here's Palmer now chasing Pearson and forcing him into a... Wow, he has given away a throw-in, but he took the scenic route. He launched it high into the night sky. It drops just off the pitch, so attacking throw-in for Wrexham. Level the edge of the area. Radulkovic, the target man, is really struggling to make the ball stick up front for Huddersfield. As the throw-in's taken, McLean, I think more through luck than judgment, wins another throw-in as he lost his balance. The ball's in his hands again. McLean throws it short to Lee and pops it back into midfield. O'Connell now in the centre circle. Yeah, Radulkovic had an odd sort of career as Scar goes too long. McLean's chasing it, mind. Fair play to him. Wow, no, he hasn't kept her in. He nearly kept her in. It was a great effort by him. But a throw in to Huddersfield, deep in their half. Yeah, Radulkovic is like, he's had sort of quite big moves and then not come off at those clubs when he's had the opportunity. A couple of years ago, he was at HJK Helsinki and was top scorer in the Finnish league. But then he comes back and he's only scored one in, nearly a season for Huddersfield as Dobson nods it forwards. Goal kick, but again, Wrexham just showing good intensity and closing down when the ball's in the Huddersfield half.
Yeah, we spoke about the second balls on Saturday where we felt in the first half they were just not quite bringing them into play. But this first half, Dobson and Cannon especially, both of them have been right on it. Any second ball that's dropped in there, Dobson's been the first to it.
Long clearance, great header that again by Scarn on the edge area. Palmer knocks it down. Lundvik under pressure from Mullen, just about gets away from him and slashes it into the seats. Mullen's chasing again. He's not really had much to work with, but his chasing of lost causes is causing problems for Huddersfield.
Yeah, and it just creates problems, like you say, Mark, out of nothing balls, really, where you think normally the defender is in full control and can sort of do as they please, but just knowing that Paul Mullen's sort of near you or behind you, it puts that second little bit of doubt in your brain and you maybe make that wrong decision.
Oh, Barnett under pressure again, calm, neat footwork, and he works it all out. For those of you who didn't see the news, because it came out at the same time as the kickoff, as to say, the ball played long, Palmer beaten to it. Marshall does well in midfield and just about managed to evade Dobson. McLean narrow, tries to get a foot in too. Huddersfield now, can they work the ball out here? Turton on the right. In midfield, slows it down and then puts it out of play because Wiles has taken a knock. Yeah, the news is announced around the time of the kickoff that MetaQuest are our back of shirt sponsors now. Wow. I mean, that's a heck of a deal. And there's a great tweet from Bryant saying, just did the maths, Wrexham's sponsorship with United Airlines, HP and Meta, we've now got over 1.5 trillion in a sponsor market cap on our kits. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm not saying we're bringing in that much, but we do have high value sponsors, don't we? That's unbelievable.
That's incredible. The pulling power of Wrexham AFC.
Precisely. Every team we visited this season has had their highest crowd of the season so far. All but 7 last season of the team's highest crowds were against us, and the ones that weren't tended to be games like local derbies that had 7, sort of 100 or so more. Wow, it's amazing, isn't it? This is Lundvik now in midfield. For my money, Pearson and Lees have looked quite in control, and Lundvik has been doing well, but having to battle to do well. He's been extended more than the other two as Marshall tries to play a through ball, but it's massively overhit. He feels like the one you can get at maybe a little bit. Yeah,
but just the other two are good experience, aren't they? They're 30 plus, played a lot of games at this level and higher. Lundvik's new, younger, so just maybe a little bit more naive.
Not quite so big either, and Palmer is looking to go across onto him and offer, isn't he, as much as he can to just be a physical presence as Wrexham see the throw in about 25 yards out, taken short. And Turton's done well to sort his feet out and get a cross in there. It's a nasty one, but it's too close to Okonkwo, who takes it safely.
It's 2-3-5-2 formations going up against each other and pretty much nullifying each other at the moment, aren't they? Both teams really top high tempo. Both teams really trying to get that momentum that they desperately need to maybe get ahead in this game. But the other ones, it's just a slugfest at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Cannon now, a player suited for that sort of slugfest. Feeding it backwards, O'Connor now, driving forwards, finds Lee 30 yards out. O'Connor makes a sprint into the box. Lee's using the space he's created and feeds it cleverly across to O'Connell. O'Connell driving forwards now. Works it out wide to Barnett. There was a buzz now in the air when Barnett gets the ball. A few rollovers. Rips a nasty ball then. Good take by the keeper. Full stretch. He caught that one. And now he's knocked it long. Wrexham left 1-on-1 at the back. But Okonkwo is decisive. Gets out. And with Scar blocking off his man. Thumps it out for a throw-in.
I think Scar's just saying maybe just an earlier shout would help me out a little bit, because they thought if he'd stayed, Scar was comfortable in getting there. He could have just rolled it back, but he's got out of the way and squirted one out into our stand.
Lonvike into midfield. Palmer gets a good interception on that. Headed forwards by Pearson. He's lucky, it just gets past Lee. Dobson now scrapping with Wiles. Ball drops back to Turton on the halfway line. He goes back into his own half. Pearson. And now the ball carried forward by Lees. Lonvike on the halfway line. He ventures into the Wrexham half, prods it forwards. Good work by O'Connor. Just comes across calmly to intercept. Knocks it long. Mullen beaten to it. But Cannon scrapping with Miller. Concede the throw in the end. Just in the Wrexham half.
There's some good battles right away across the pitch, aren't there, at the minute? Barnett and Miller especially on this side. Really good battle. Kane in the middle with Andy Cannon.
Cannon's the one for me. He's just finding those little pockets easier than the other Wrexham midfielders in the Huddersfield half as Barnett thrashes the clearance, which bounces off Kane and sets Lee off on his way through the middle. Only Mullen ahead of him. He's worked it wide to McLean. McLean now cutting inside. Lee takes over. Huddersfield have got bodies behind the ball. Dobson, though, goes driving forwards down the left. Threads it down the flank. Got too much on that. Looking for Mullen. He apologises, but I like when Dobson gets into those sorts of positions because his accurate passing, his weight of passing can really create something, can't it?
Yeah, it just looked like the counter was on for a few seconds there. We just decide in the end to be a bit more patient and hold on to the ball a bit longer. I think if it's on the other side with Ryan Barnett, that's a bit of a different story. But James McLean just decides to go back, stay patient, and in the end it doesn't come to anything with George Dobson just getting that final ball slightly wrong in the end.
So Chapman with the kick. Still no goals, 34th minute. Gripping game. Lee heading it backwards. And it's then jumped on by Kasumu in midfield. Free kick. It'll be O'Connor switching it backwards. And now here's O'Connell pinging it back across. O'Connor has to sprint and can't keep it in. That was careless by O'Connell. Throw in, which Pearson will take just inside the Wrexham half, right hand side. Looking for movement. Kane offers. It's thrown in short. Kasumu goes to ground. Good tackle by Mullen. It's cleared, but only as far as Kane in midfield once more. Huddersfield go back into their own half. Lonvike. As Christina on Arse Wrexham says, Christ, Dobson is a great player. Yeah, I'll agree with that. 100%. Barcode Mark saying, great game and loving it. Good work by Barnett. Just forces Lonvike off the pitch. Thrown the halfway line. Right in front of Kevin Russell. Now there's a Wrexham legend. In 2 spells for Wrexham. The first spell, he had hair. There were other elements that made him different from the second spell, but that comes to nothing. Palmer flicks it on and Huddersfield at the back. When he was with us in his first 2-year spell, when he scored 45 odd goals in 2 seasons, he was, I think, the fastest player I felt had seen with the ball at his feet. He'd just get the ball and tear through defences. Here's Dobson now. feeding it into Palmer in between the lines. He's got an option out wide and uses it. Cannon just looks over his shoulder to see what his pal Barnett is. He's arriving now. Barnett taking on Miller. Longvik's come out as well to provide cover. Barnett is ever teasing. He's made space for Dobson. Feeds it to the feet of Cannon, who's pinning his man. Rolls it back for Barnett. Barnett fakes the cross, then he does stand it up to the far post. Oh, Lee got a head to it, but it's gone out the box. O'Connor's won it back well, just wouldn't sit down for a shot for him, but he's done well squeezing it out to Cannon. Now Barnett has got Miller isolated. Shifting it from foot to foot. This time Miller does well. I think the first corner he stopped getting into the box though. Throw into Wrexham.
Yeah, you can see they're concerned about Barnett every time he's out there on the ball. They make sure there's a man behind Miller as well. So they're just making sure they're doubling up on him every time to make sure if he does get past him initially, he's not going to get past the second.
Throw-in leads to another throw for Wrexham. Barnett again on it. Cannon over there with him. Dobson, no, I thought he was looking at the inviting space beyond Cannon. Palmer offers it in the near post and receives it on his chest, just bounced awkwardly, flicks it over his head into the goal mouth. Mullen battling away as well to get there first, but it's slashed away to the edge of the box by Cannon and then headed on by Wiles. Radulkovic can't hold on to it, leaded well. Cannon now turns 30 yards out. Barnett on the right, down the line for Palmer. Longvik tight on him. Palmer does a little step over and wins another throw. Again, level the edge of the box. Wrexham really penning Huddersfield in. Here's O'Connell. The crowd warn him. There's a man on him. He drives forwards and wins another throw by there. And Huddersfield just struggling to get out here. Throw back into midfield this time for Dobson. Clips it down the line. O'Connell prods it forwards. Blocked by Miller. He has to go backwards into his own half. And Scar will have to start again. Appreciative applause from the Huddersfield fans. Their team held tight there. That's a big switch by O'Connell, a good one. McLean now on the left. Back to Dobson on the halfway line. O'Connor shapes the play at square and then drives forwards down the flank. Good run, good ball. Palmer, nice feet, gets away from Pearson. Just gets clipped, but not enough to be a foul. But Palmer carries on well, and he finds on the left-hand side Dobson, who beats his man, rips across in. It's headed away. Now Mullen wants a penalty. Defender just collapsed onto him in the middle of the 6-yard box. Wrexham continue. Barnes has got Cannon in space in the box. Finds him, but the pass has a lot of him. And he can only prod it through to the keeper. Penalty shout off the ball. You don't usually get those, do you?
Yeah, we weren't. I wasn't looking at that. We're just going to watch the replay if we can see it. Probably a coming together and Mullen trying to make the most of it. But really positive play by Wrexham. Down one side, then the other. Barnett regains. Been a really good spell for Wrexham without any real end product, but they've certainly got the most momentum out of the two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. As here's Dobson now nodding it wide, prodded forwards by O'Connor. It was actually, I'm just looking on the monitor now, I think the instance coming up now with Mullen, it was actually O'Connor, wasn't it, who burst down the flank to provide an excellent ball in. And Mullen, I mean, he's got goal side of his man. It looks clumsy from Longvik, but I'm not sure much more than that. Long ball over the top. McLean's with a good run. He'll have to curb it to try and keep this in. He's done so. And Palmer does well to use his bulk to nod the ball back to McLean. He scoops it back in. He's got the ball on the floor. In the end, it just doesn't bounce for Dobson. He's lost it. And here now is Miller, but again, it came awkwardly for him. And Cannon snaps in well. Mullen looks offside. The crowd and Mullen going mad at Cannon, but he looked off to me. I think Cannon's right to hold on to it.
Yeah, well, I think if he had managed to get it away from him right that first second that he had a chance, just a millisecond later, he saw that Lees had stepped up.
Palmer goes down asking for a foul. It didn't look like much in it to me, to be honest. Play continues. O'Connell in midfield switches nicely. Now O'Connor has got a chance to drive forwards. He helps it on. Lee now in the half space. Feeds it to the edge of the box. Palmer helps it on to Mullen. Tight angle. Great tackle. That's a goal kick. Good tackle that. As Mullen was looking to pull the trigger from a tight angle. Longvik, fair play, tracked him across. Great cover and got the tackle in.
Yeah, nice little pass, and it was the relationship between Palmer and Mullen. Little over, or a little Sid from Palmer lets Mullen come in. His first touch just takes him towards goal when Longvik just unable to get a toe in, and it comes back off Mullen for a goal kick. But really positive. Wrexham on top. Can they get that momentum? Can they make that momentum pay and try and nick that goal before half-time?
Yeah, it's a tight one, this, isn't it? But yeah, Wrexham just need to make something count. Here now, the ball volleyed clear into midfield. Kane's touch lets him down. Good tackle that by Mullin. Can't quite come out with the ball though. Again, Kasumu does well. He's been working hard in midfield, Kasumu. Ball goes back to Crawford. He chips it into midfield. Controlled nicely by Wiles. He gets a return pass and in a crowded midfield again. Cannon gets a foot in. Dobson protecting the ball from Miller. Unlucky, nearly threads it to Palmer. Good foot in by Lonvike to put it out of play on the halfway line.
I've been trying to come back to you about Kev Russell for 5 minutes, but I've not had a breath yet. Kev was here when I first came. A brilliant character around the changing rooms. Fantastic footballer. I learnt so much from him and his play because he's sort of moved from a striker to back into more attacking midfield.
That's a good ball by Palmer. Barnett hits the goal line, drives it in, wins a corner. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, he actually set up my first ever goal for Wrexham away at Colchester. A little chip over the top, a diving header off the shoulder into the bottom corner.
He was also the first player that I commentated with, and it was like going to school. It was brilliant. He was just talking about, what's going to happen next, what they're looking to do. I sat there thinking, whoa.
Well, a brilliant player and a great coaching career as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So here comes O'Connor. The crowd are really involved in this. Swings beyond the far post. Lee beaten in the air to it, and a foul's given against Wrexham anyway. Yeah. Kevin Russell, my first indication of his intelligence was like when he was playing the first spell and he had such pace. So many of his goals were exactly the same because his pace would get him one-on-one so often. He was incredibly reliable one-on-one because he clearly sussed out that 4th division goalkeepers weren't very good at standing up very long. And he'd just drive straight at them and wait for them to go down early and just launch it centre in the roof of the net. And he rarely missed. He was so reliable. Crawford's getting some grief now for time wasting as long clearance offsides given. That wasn't a goal kick then. No, okay, fair enough. I should pay more attention instead of telling anecdotes about Kevin Russell, should I?
I just think Huddersfield are trying to just kill that momentum of Wrexham and also the atmosphere when they can, especially from those dead ball situations. Chapman, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating as with your Wrexham hat on watching it, but from a Huddersfield point of view, it's exactly what you want him to do.
Oh, absolutely. Okonkwo standing up at diagonal. Palmer's done well to help that on, and Lees has to launch it clear. Cannon, good strength, heads it forwards. Lonvike clears again, head tennis. O'Connell playing it back end, this time with strong defensive work by Lees. And Mullin has created a loose ball, which McLean's interested in. It's hit off him for a throw by the corner flag in the end. But that energy we're showing in their half is really great, isn't it? It's creating opportunities for us.
Yeah, it's the press from the front too. They're kicking it off. They're just making it uncomfortable for the players in possession of the ball to make that next pass, and if that next pass isn't exact, the next one's coming, and McLean does it there. He sees the possibility that there's a chance of a steal, if you like, and takes it.
Wrexham from the throw-in, one to the free kick on the edge of the area. Mullin, defender made contact on him from behind. Nothing given. Mullin wasn't happy. Palmer gets up and forces a weak header from Lees. Great work by Miller to get there and feed it through the middle. And now there's danger here as the ball is fed out to Kane. He's got 3 men in the box to aim for, switches it instead. And now a chance for Turton to deliver on the right side. Sweeps in well, near post header, put wide. And that's a chance for Radulkovic. He just wrapped his head around it and got too much on it.
Yeah, massive chance for Huddersfield just before the end of the half. I think he should probably do better in the end. It's a really nice cross into the box. They just suddenly speed up that tempo. There's a bit of miscommunication from Ryan Barnett and Andy Cannon in the middle of the park as to who's going to go in to try and win the ball at first. And yeah, I think he should just try and get that on target in the end, the number 9.
He just gets too much on it rather than just glancing it and just using the pace of the ball on it to just flick off his head into that far corner. He just goes with too much and gets too much of it and heads it past the near post. They do spring really quickly, from when they get the ball back in transition. The 2 strikers are gone, the centre midfielder Wiles is up there, and both wing backs are going at real pace.
Wrexham was at a free kick about 25 yards out then. not given. And we're halfway through 1 added minute. O'Connell lifting it. Palmer, edge of the box. Beaten well in the air by Lees. Brave header by Dobson. It was a high boot. Wow. Foul given against Dobson for butting someone in the foot when his foot's 5 feet in the air. Well, that's a strange one. Don't know what that was, but...
Unless he gave it for Ollie Palmer beforehand.
But he didn't. Oh, yeah, they are standing it back there. I'd like to see what Palmer did, actually, if I'm honest. There may have been more to Palmer than Dobson, certainly, but... Yeah, referee getting some grief. I think he might choose to stop the game then, as the ball's not long. Just looking at the instant on the monitor now as Huddersfield knock it long. And that is half-time. So no goals in a pulsating first half. Andy and Mia are going down now to do the half-time matchday live talk on YouTube. Get down there and watch their analysis of Chris Malaband. And there's definitely no foul by Palmer either. You can see daylight between him and Lees. So that's a very strange decision. So you can get down on our YouTube channel, give that, and watch that. If you want to hang around with me, I'll go through some Ask Wrexham questions and we'll see what you guys have been asking. So, Wrexham fans, as the referee walks off the pitch, greeting him with a traditional chant if you don't know what you're doing, as he makes his way off now. But yeah, Wrexham putting lots of pressure on Huddersfield. And now we just have to see if in the second half we can break through and cause some issues, further issues for him. So, High Desert Dragon quite right, saying we're seeing two teams of similar strategies here, aren't we? I'm going to have to re-watch this one a few times. It's so interesting. I mean, as Andy said, yeah, we're matched up. Steve Kunze said, yeah, I'll watch it again, especially if we manage to win. Yeah, they're matching us up, which then turns it into quite a tight game. You're only going to find space by making unexpected movements, if you will, or getting into positions where you can overload the opposition before they realise it. So it can be a good sort of spoiling tactic, if you like, just to make it difficult for the other side to create. And I think that's what Huddersfield looked to do on Saturday. They played pretty much the same formation, really. Kasumu seemed to be a little bit deeper, perhaps. But I mean, the other thing is it makes individual battles, which again Andy and Mia were talking about, so important, doesn't it? So Barnett against Miller. You can see Miller when he's on the ball, comes forwards. He's got the ability to carry the ball and to cause problems, but Barnett is making him defend a lot more than he'd want to. He's forcing him back into his own half. Likewise, the Palmer-Lonwijk scrap. Lonwijk's very mobile and has made some good interventions, but Palmer is roughing him up a little bit, and that is fascinating. As well, I mean, Turton and McLean. I'd say McLean is getting forwards more than Turton, but Turton has put 2 threatening balls in, one of which led to that headed chance for Radulkovic, which he could easily have made more of. Radulkovic with his scrap against Scar, he's really not making the ball stick up front, and I'm sure that Huddersfield will look at that and just think that might be something they could improve on. It's a fascinating game. It's a really, really interesting contest, and like I said, in those situations, the individual battles can be ever so important. So, let's have another look at Ask Greg. Oh, Jason Dean, you legend, starting a middle school watch club for Tuesday matches, and there they all are in their classroom watching the Wrexham. Excellent. Hello everyone, and I like your tree. It's a nice classroom tree. Not enough classrooms have trees on them, as far as I'm concerned. Well done. Brilliant. Very, very impressed with that. Jen Lewis saying that she'd have loved to have seen a goal before half-time. The lads have worked so hard for it. Well, I mean, sometimes you've got to wear teams down. I remember Andy's not with me now, so I can speak freely about him, was very, very good at doing that and at taking advantage of it. using strikers to grind defenders down, wear them down, and then when they're starting to tire, you bring on quick players. I always remember him as a manager doing that, where it was Jake Spate and Danny Wright, one of their early games for Wrexham. Wright in particular, a really big, wide-shouldered striker who was very strong, and the two of them battered away. It was at Bath City. There's a team we're a few divisions away from now, weirdly. Basically, he beat Wright in particular, and Spate really roughed up the centre-backs, really did well. Didn't create all that much, but had a lot of impact. And then Morrell brought on himself and Adrian Cislevic to replace them with about 25 minutes left. Cislevic being a very quick wide player. And the consequence was that the tired defenders couldn't deal with them, and we scored 2 goals and 1. By the way, that cheering you're hearing in the background is the weird stuff that was going on at the start of the match. It's not from the ground. I don't know what's happening, but somebody is feeding sound effects down. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you can hear it either. It's quite off-putting. It sounds like the highlights, in fact. But who knows? Anyway. Fact is, like I said, Wrexham, as Jen said, very hard working, aren't they? Really getting stuck in. Very energetic in our hard work, and hopefully we'll wind them down and the rewards will come. Would be lovely if we could hear Mark Griffiths at half-time, says Dr. Beth Wood. Love hearing him engage with fans. I'm assuming someone can. I've been told some people can. I hope so. Bustails NE says, do we get a discount on Meta VR headsets? Before the match, Paul Mullen came out in one when the fans were all out there getting autographs. I wouldn't mind that. Although, ironically, there have been plenty of years when I've wanted to wear one when Wrexham were playing, so I could watch something different. But they didn't exist. Now, I'd rather watch the Wrexham game. Paula J. Smith, by the way, I'm going to really agree with you on this. Someone please explain again what the heck the referee just gave that free kick for. Was he anxious to just finish the half and go for a cuppa? He saw something odd. I don't know. I mean, the ball went long. Palmer challenged for it. But for me, you could see daylight between him and Lees. I didn't think Palmer fouled him. And then when the ball came out, it was a free kick to Wrexham. I thought Dobson went in with his head, made no contact at all with his man, and the boot against Dobson was high. It was a very, very odd one. Philly Wrexham said we're going to need that fan zone end to suck in some goals in the second half. You know what, Philly Wrexham? I'm going to have to ask Andy about that, just how much of a difference it does make. I know it feels massively like it does, especially the way that the Wrexham crowds have been in the last 3-4 years at the racecourse. But for a player's perspective, it must make some difference. I'll ask. Janie Troll says that we look like the stronger side towards the end of the half. Absolutely right. Music now. Okay. Can you guys hear this? I am so intrigued. Please tell me. Sorry, that's ever so distracting. Steve Kunsley says, bring on the pies. Sorry. I didn't take a pie today because I was here early. So I had a Swift pizza as my tea. And I've got to leave it then. I've got to leave it. Now here's an obvious matter for discussion. Jay, the Upper East Side Hawk, our club sponsors, United Airlines, HP and MetaQuest. No club in the Football League comes close. These are top-end Premier League sponsors. Anyone claiming Wrexham are a small club either aren't paying attention or are being intellectually dishonest. And the sponsors clearly disagree. Yeah, I think the important thing, Jay, is exactly what you said. People can say stuff if they want to, but the fact is we've got those sponsors and they're not fools. They've come in for a reason. It is absolutely fantastic to have such calibre of people wanting to invest in Wrexham. And it's something which, we capitalise upon. I mean, I know I've said this before, but when you look at PSR, complying with the financial regulations, well, I mean, we're comfortably within that, despite the fact that we're spending good money and wages on players, because we have those sorts of contacts, we have those sorts of sponsors. It's absolutely wonderful, but it's a brilliantly worked out strategy. The owners and those who advise them as well deserve the most credit you could possibly hope for. They really, really do. Todd Lloyd saying, what an exciting match so far. Love to have some goals, but great watch so far. An excellent commentary. Oh, thank you very much. We're loving it. They said they are the voice of Wrexham. And when Mark's voice rises, the game is on. Oh, thank you very much. I'm making that into a t-shirt. Oh, I love that. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Barcode Mark saying, Barnett always had the speed and the skill. The crossing wasn't as good though. He's worked on it and now he's the complete player. Hope we can keep him for all of this journey. I mean, I just say, like we were saying before, why not? Why not? I mean, he's a fine player and he's improving all the time. But like I say, with the level of backing that we've got, like we just described, we don't have to sell players. In the National League, there were points where we kind of gave players away because we couldn't really do much about it. There were two players who came to us, Paul Carden and Anthony Barry, who basically signed as major signings and then changed their minds immediately. Obviously because another club had come in and offered them more. And we had to let them go, basically. They only signed 1-year contracts and it wasn't worth the hassle. We wouldn't get much in compensation. Yeah, good luck trying to force a player out away from us now that we've got all this cash going on. I tell you. Paul Cosgrove, Mark, do you think Dipsy Doodle accurately describes Barney's footwork? He's doing the Dipsy Doodle. Oh, I like that. I'm going to have to try and remember that and use it in the second half. Barcode Mark saying, slight worry this pressure hasn't led to a goal. Fair comment, but like I said, you can grind a team down and the chances start to come. There have been a few games here when we were under this strong spell where we don't get the early goal, but the game gets more open. The second half, teams tire a little bit, and you just get that opportunity to start creating and using space. So let's hope that's what happens. Let's hope so, eh? But while it's 0-0, of course, so the Seals still in it, and then they're neat on the break, even if they've not really been making that many clear-cut chances. Well, they've made one clear-cut chances in. Barcode Mark sent a message at the start of the game. 2 minutes in, and we haven't scored. Parky out. Anyway, that's JB wishes a happy 160th to Wrexham AFC, who tried to sign a 6'4" central defender from America before the deadline that first season. He's got the HP transfer printer with Abraham Lincoln coming out of it. Very nice. Alas, for both parties, they ran out of toner. Oh, that's poor old Abraham. I've been to Ford Theatre, where, of course, he was shot. I shouldn't have said that with so much enthusiasm. It's a hell of a place. It's fascinating, and the whole story of John Wilkes Booth jumping off the box after he killed him, landing on the stage, breaking his leg, and shouting "Sic transit tyrannis," and everyone thinking it's part of the play, and then he's like limping off the stage with a broken leg and escapes. It's an amazing story and a really evocative place to go. But anyway, enough of my nonsense. Mia and Andy are back.
We've been given a reprieve.
Oh.
They've got Ruthers down there on the Matchday Live. So we've been given 5 minutes to come and chat to you, Mark.
Oh, very good. Well, a really nice Ask Wrexham question came up, which made me want to ask, as we're kicking the wrong way round, if you will, to the second half, towards the temporary cop, how much of a difference does it make to players having that support behind the goal, urging you on? I mean, it clearly must make some difference. You see it at the race course a lot, but does it make that much difference, do you think, or does it vary from individual to individual?
Yeah, for me, it's just normality. really. You know, you're used to playing one way first and then the other way. I think there's a tactic for people that win the toss, to turn around to make it a little bit more uncomfortable when you're at home. But really, when you're out, when you are playing, it's not like they're sucking the ball in one end and blowing it out the other end. So doesn't make, for me, it didn't make that much difference. I did enjoy scoring in front of the Kop though. That was a good place.
Yeah, the celebrations are great, aren't they? Yeah, exactly. So, and you get so many iconic pictures. I remember Steve Fox, who, when I was a young kid, I really liked him. He was like a pudgy winger who tried unlikely stuff, and he scored a goal and then runs to the Kop and stands on the fences then, and just stands on the bottom of the fence with his arms outstretched in front of the crowded Kop. And it's just moments like that you think, oh wow, it just feels so good, you know. Substitution by Huddersfield. The teams are back out, and Huddersfield are going to make a change. Looks like Danny Ward is coming on, not the ex-Wrexham goalkeeper, of course. Yep, so he's on. I beg your pardon. No, it isn't. Or is it? It is. I can't read. He's not even on the bench. He's been taken off the bench, so who the heck has come on?
Yeah, Danny Ward's come on.
It is Danny Ward?
Yeah, he's on the bottom of it.
I'm deeply confused. Anyway, he is on. And off has come Callum Marshall, who's a good quality striker, but he made very little impact in this first half. So Wrexham restart. So immediately Huddersfield knock it forwards. Ball hooked into the middle. Wrexham claim it back. Palmer helping it on. Pearson digging out a clearance straight at Scar. Head tennis to start it off as Kasumu tries to drive forward. Good work by Dobson. Robs him and works it wide. Mullin now. Nobody really keeping up with him. And he looks inside, and again Kasumu is alert. He's done a lot of good work hoovering up in front of his back three. Chapman knocks it long. Chested down nicely over to the flank by Radulkovic, but O'Connor handles Kane comfortably. Kane on the right of the midfield for it looks like now.
Yeah, Kasumu does the same job for Huddersfield as Dobson for Wrexham. Reads the game really well, good energy, and then plays it simple, gets the players who can affect things up further up the pitch on the ball as quickly as he can.
Wrexham overthrown the halfway line, left-hand side. No Abraham Lincoln to aim at, but Palmer is down the flank. Fed into Lee, who switches it across, comes down. There's snow on it, awkward take, and O'Connell doesn't take it comfortably, but he does hold on to possession under pressure from Wiles, who then troubles him, but Dobson's doing well to work it wide. Barnett with an early ball forwards, asking a lot of Mullin, who can't win it. Lee nods it back in. Scrappy start to the second half. Another poor ball forwards, this time by Huddersfield. And O'Connell then goes long, and that's going to drop on Lonwijk's head, and he heads it square straight to Palmer. Brings it down and hooks it wide, as well read that by Turton, who clears, but only as far as Dobson. Dobson pinging it over to the right, doesn't quite find Barnett. Headed clear, Cannon to Barnett, probably the first complete pass of the half. Barnett, though, runs into Miller. Good tackle by the fullback. Miller will twist and work it square. Kasumu works it back to the edge of the penalty area. Both sides just struggling at the moment to make the ball stick as their opponents are working so hard. Dobson does well. Nice calm nod down. And Wrexham have it at the back. 2 minutes of the second half in which not much has really happened except lots of battling like this for the loose ball. Dobson misjudges a header. Heads it backwards. And it's a free kick given. 35 yards out. Could be a yellow card. There's O'Connell. Was beaten by Radulkovic, who may have controlled it with his hands. But the ref didn't give it. And O'Connell pulled him to the ground, free kick.
Yeah, it did look it, didn't he? He had his arm up. He thought it maybe, but maybe ref unsighted. Linesman not wanting to get involved over the far side.
Just looking at the replay, it looks handball, if I'm honest.
But it is a free kick as well.
But having said that, having not given that, O'Connell has fouled his man, no question. And it's a reasonable yellow. So Wrexham with all bar Mullin back to defend this set piece. As it's Kasumu on it. About 35 yards out. Feeds it down the side. That's cutely done. And the ref says he's not ready for it. So we'll have to go back again. cute little run in to out down the left-hand side. But the ref wasn't happy with it. So they'll try again. Danny Ward it was who made the run. This time it's lofted in the goal mouth. Okonkwo comes, headed out of his hands, but safely enough by O'Connell. And now it's Kane, tackled well by Palmer. Throw to Huddersfield, level the edge of the area. Kane will leave it for Pearson, who's shown he's got decent length on his throws. Turton's made a run and receives it on the goal line. 2 men on him though. Can he bring it under control? He knocks off his man, wins a corner. Huddersfield slowly grinding their way up the pitch. Yeah, fans making good noise. So, corner right hand side. Again, Kasumu's on it. In swinger, left footed. Lots of players beyond the far post. Lots of players around the penalty spot. Again, the referee has seen something he doesn't like. He's been quite picky. He's sort of just broken play up quite a bit himself, the referee, isn't he? I'm trying to stop myself from my usual rants of just let the ball come in and give a foul. But I will do it again soon. I'm going to crack. In swinger, Kasumu signals. Fires it into the near post. It's headed back to him by Radulkovic. I think the best he could do there. Crossing is an inviting one. Palmer gets up and heads it behind. Important header that. It was into a good area. And this is a real sustained spell of pressure now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Huddersfield really sticking Wrexham back. But again, that's just one of the brilliant things about Ollie Palmer as a striker, the way he can get back and really help you out defensively.
Lees has gone a long way beyond the far post. O'Connell's gone out to pick him up. There's lots of movement in the goal mouth. The ball swung in nastily and partly cleared to the edge of the area. It'll come in again. That was nasty, that. Fed by Kane out wide. Kasulu flings it in and it's volleyed away by Cannon. And that'll be a throw just by the corner flag. There was so much movement in the box then I scared the hell out of me.
There was movement and the ball, where the ball landed, there was about 15 players, wasn't there? All in a melee. Whoever got first contact on it, well played. But first, fortunately, it was a Wrexham player, headed out the box. Again, the defensive team dealing with these crosses really well.
Throw in then again by Pearson, flicked on into the goal mouth, and it's miscontrolled, shot blocked, 6 yards out. It was good for Wrexham that O'Connor kept so close to his man, and now is Palmer breaking and he's brought down, and that will have to be a yellow card for Kasumu. Barnett was in acres of space. Palmer was about to feed it out wide, and Kasumu just went right through the back of it, took one for the team, and a second yellow for Huddersfield.
Well, I thought a commentator cursed it by saying they've dealt with everything so well. Then Dan Scarr, he decides to head one just back to the striker. Oh no, but fortunately to the rescue comes one of his mates, and they managed to clear it. Great break as well, wasn't it, by Palmer? If he could have just got rid of the ball to a flying Barnett coming down that right hand side, but Kasumu took action into his own hands and brought him down for a yellow.
It's squared to O'Connor. Huddersfield now having to hold the line on the edge of the area, and they press the ball and force it back into the Wrexham half. Scarr. Huddersfield squeeze up to O'Connor. McLean's making a run over the top, so is Mullen. It's an awkward one, but Turton's done well. Got underneath it, heads it away. Palmer tries to flick it on for Lee, but it's intercepted. Ball out to Kane, who tries to play a return pass. Wrexham are really doing well to race back and smother that ball. Lee gets it back to Okonkwo.
Swarmed him, didn't they? Swarmed five of the Wrexham players, recovering the ball. When you give it away, can we get it back within 7 seconds? That's normally the rule. They certainly did that.
It was a good energy for this point in the game as well, considering they've worked very hard in the first half. Palmer wants a long diagonal from O'Connell. O'Connell pulls it square, and will McLean keep it in? No. I think he was looking for Lee. But yeah, O'Connell's had a couple of little moments like that today.
Yeah, I think his body shape almost suggested he was going to hit it long to Palmer or Mullen, and I think that's just what catches McLean out in the end.
Barnett locks it long. Mullen on his own up front. If Lombat lets us bounce, he'd be in trouble. He does let it bounce, and he has to head out for the throw. Mullen waits for Barnett to take the throw. He didn't have many players keeping up with him. Barnett back to the halfway line. No. Here's Dobson now. And Wrexham start to get a bit of rhythm going. There's O'Connell under pressure again. Needs to be certain he is this time. Scar over the top, but Mullen had just been coming back. Lonvik takes a touch. Palmer's on him. Great tackle, and it's a Wrexham throw as well. He's knocked it onto the defender. Oh, he's going to foul, is he?
I think it was offside.
Oh, well,
I think both of them were coming back as a Okonkwo hit or Danskar hit forward, and then Ollie Palmer's continued his run.
A few fans on us, Wrexham, are concerned at half-time, will we be able to get a breakthrough? And I was suggesting that maybe this game, hopefully, is going along that way where Wrexham are just grinding their centre-backs down. Palmer's working them, making Lonvik work then. And hopefully when those fresh strikers come on, or at least one does, as Scar runs behind for a goal kick, that, then you've got tired defenders and you can strike.
Yeah, well, normally I would say that yes, but we've got no Jack Marriott, we've got no Stephen Fletcher on the bench to do that flip. And so we're a little bit less of a threat for me with just Mo Fall, the possibility of coming on and making a change.
Good ball by Cannon. Barnett tries to cross, and Lonvik gets his body in the way, goes for a throw by the corner flag. Barnett takes it quickly. Cannon back to him. Barnett now coming central. Good tackle on him again, this time by Miller. And the ball goes back into the Wrexham half. O'Connor feeds it forward. That's a nice idea for Palmer. He'll just be beaten to it by Pearson. If Mullen had been in that channel, then I think Huddersfield would have been in trouble. O'Connor wins a good header. Kasuma in midfield goes down and draws a foul from Lee in the middle of the pitch. Why did it pass me by that Fletcher's not on the bench? I don't know what's wrong with me here. I genuinely thought he was. Thanks for pointing it out. Foul for Palmer is a very likely change, isn't it, with about 25-20 left, as he is Huddersfield now, who have not come under as much pressure in this half. Lees to Pearson in the Wrexham half. And here's Turton now. Works it back to the halfway line. It's again Turton tight in there, but a nice 1-2 of Kane. He swings it into the box and an attempt towards goal. It's good contact by Ward, but not troubling Okonkwo, just trying to flick it on 15 yards out.
Well, he makes the run to the near post, just gets ahead of Danskar, but what he does, he's got no power on the cross. The cross is just more of a loop one, so he's just gone with the outside of his foot to redirect it, and you need a bit more pace on the cross to have put Okonkwo into any more trouble.
Ball not long, and Wrexham in a throw, just short of the halfway line, left-hand side. O'Connor will take. Huddersfield have just called in a couple of subs and sent 3 out. The throw-in's taken, firm header clear by Turton. Throw to Wrexham again in a similar position.
I think you're right, Mark. Where is the goal going to come from for Wrexham? We're praising Barnett for all the crosses. It certainly was that in the first half. That's where I felt that Wrexham had the best chance. This second half is pretty nullified that side of the pitch, haven't they? Yeah. With Miller doing so well.
Pretty clear foul on O'Connor then, not given. But then McLean is caught by Kasumu and the free kick is given on the halfway line. Wrexham trying to get things going quickly. O'Connell comes forward. Mullins made a great run inside his man and he backs into his man. Tries to buy the free kick, doesn't get it. McLean's trying to win it back but can't on the edge of the box. Then Lee goes to ground. Great challenge that. Goes out for a throw to Huddersfield.
Certainly had both hands, didn't he? In the back of Mullin, pulling him back. I don't really know what Turton should do though, really, what he can do. He's just gone up for the header. I don't think there's much in that.
I mean, Mullin's got more free kicks in those positions this season than last, I feel. But yeah, I agree. As Cannon, I'd say he obstructed Wiles there, but it allows Dobson to a brilliant recovering run by Wiles to tackle him. Lonvik just prods it out for a throw in the halfway line. It'll be taken by O'Connell. Back into the Wrexham half. We're approaching the hour mark. 57th minute. Still no score. Again, Huddersfield is stepping up and Mullen's constantly looking to see if he can time a run. It's played a bit late, in my opinion, and therefore Lees is able to challenge him in the air and flick it back to his keeper.
I have to say, Mark, I just think in little moments like that, I think both teams have been a bit sloppy at times, just lacking that little bit of quality in the final third to make the right decision in the end. And I think, we've seen a few mistakes over the last few minutes, and I think if one team, all it'll take is a little bit of quality and they could really, get something out of this.
Absolutely. Long ball forwards, chested down that well by Rakulovic. And it's helped on towards Ward. Good tackle comes in again from Dobson. Cannon looks for a testing pass for Mullin. Lonwijk is not slow though, and he beats Mullin to it. Back to the keeper. Lees now to Lonwijk. Deep in their own half still. Sumu has space to turn in the middle of the pitch and helps it on to Pearson. Turton is down the line asking for it. Actually, no, he's saying feed it into the half space because Kane had picked up a good position. They switch to the other side and Kane is making a run in the box now. Hasn't been picked up as the ball's pulled to the edge of the area. Wiles plays it back. Will Kasuma hit it? No. Squares it. Pearson works it on. Here is Kane now working it wide. But Wrexham just keeping their shape and trying to force Huddersfield to take a risk with the ball, which Kane does, chipping it high into the box. Good header clear by Scar. Kane feeds it back into the goal mouth, but it's a comfortable take by Okonkwo. Huddersfield's fans shouting for a penalty with Scar's challenge, which it certainly wasn't. But yeah, the benches could be very important, couldn't they?
Yeah, I think after the effort of Saturday as well, I think this second half hasn't been quite as good for Wrexham as the first was. So maybe it is Ollie Rathbone, maybe it is Seb Revan to come on, with a little bit of pace, a little bit of energy that they've got still to maybe just change this game in Wrexham's favour.
Here's Okonkwo, the ball at his feet. Finds O'Connor. McLean is offering for him down the line. O'Connor has got Palmer demanding a diagonal. Instead he switches it to O'Connell. Has to play that with his head. Palmer now jumping, knocks it down for Mullin, who flicks on beautifully. Lee now driving through the middle. McLean trying to offer him an option on the left. He finds him. McLean now floats it in to the far post. Barnett beating it to it in the air. Good header that by Lonwijk. Cannon will pick it up on the flank and feed Barnett once more. Barnett hasn't been getting many of the ball at this position. He's used Cannon's run as a decoy to isolate Miller, and now again he's switching it from foot to foot, trying to mesmerise him. Pulls it back. Dobson rips the ball in, headed clear. Comes back out to him again. Dobson this time feeds it a ball forwards, but as Cannon tries to back into his man, it's intercepted. Only given back to Dobson though. Feeds it into the centre circle. The Wrexham fans urging their team on. McLean now down the line. Nice. Mullin tries to spin his man. Good tackle by Pearson. Throw in 20 yards out. The fans really getting engaged with this. Lovely touch by Lee, but Kane does well to get a tackle in. Cannon can't quite get to the loose ball. It's another loose ball which Pearson has to launch clear. And Scar underneath it heads it back where it came from. Lee goes to ground. Palmer trying to latch onto it, and in the end Lees hits an overhead kick. Offside given. But can't be against Palmer because he was running onto it, and Mullin wasn't interfering, but okay, it's given. Huddersfield then looking to build again from the back. 63rd minute now. Jim Ciroli says, how about the winner comes from Mo Fowl today? Would love to see him get 20 minutes. I'm sure we will. Palmer runs himself into the ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he trusts him to do the box, defensive side of the game. Fowl goes back and head it out of our boxes so well. Stephen Fletcher does it so well.
As Dobson nearly managed to win the ball from Lees with players around him. But Huddersfield have managed to get it up to the halfway line. I know a body check by O'Connell. Ref says no foul. Well,
he's on the yellow as well.
Yeah. Got a funny feeling that might just be the referee not fancying giving a controversial red card there. But O'Connell, would it be controversial? He cut. McLean, sloppy. Loses the ball. An early cross could pick out Huddersfield striker. It doesn't. Cannon, poor clearance though. Ward feeds it into the channel and Wiles slashes it way over the bar. But there's a few things to pick out there. Firstly, for me, O'Connell just dropped in front of his man, and that was a second yellow.
Yeah, I think he's just stumbled across him more than wiped him out, if you like. But it'd be interesting to see a replay of it, but just been really sloppy. Yeah. Mia mentioned it a bit before with the quality that's in there. But that's a little touch round the corner, isn't it? And O'Connell has taken him out. Easily seen them given.
Absolutely. He's a lucky man. So, and Wrexham as well then, that's a sloppiness. McLean and Cannon giving it away in dangerous areas. But Wiles wasn't able to take advantage. Slashing it well over. But yeah, Wrexham have not got things going in this second half. Here's O'Connor now on the edge of his area, chipping a good ball to Lee. Difficult take. He's done well, taking it high in his chest. And Bauer tried to backheel it off Pearson to win a throw. But Pearson keeps it in and drives down the flank, drills in across. It hits O'Connor. Pearson squares it again. Good tackle by O'Connor, right on the edge of the area. So Kane might have kicked out of them a little bit then. O'Connor wasn't bothered. Lee has picked out Cannon. Good ball out wide to Barnett now. Wrexham players tearing forwards. Barnett wants to have another go at Miller. Shapes to go inside, drills it in. It's blocked. And then Barnett catches his man as he tries to win it back. And yeah, it's just getting a bit frustrating for Wrexham now as we get forwards, isn't it?
Well, I think there was a little tug on the challenge at the back here on O'Connor to stop him moving forward. Yes, we've been able to pick up the ball and drive forward with it, but I've seen them given for yellows as well.
I have to say, I think they've marshalled Ryan Barnett really well so far the second half. Miller's doing a really good job on him at the moment. And Kasumu as well, I think he's been really impressive for this whole game too.
Yeah, he's really mobile, isn't he, side to side as he covers for his defenders. And he's been an important factor, I think, in the nullification of Barnett in the second half. He's got a block onto more crosses, hasn't he, in the second half than the first?
Yeah, he's got a lot tighter in this second half. Been given a job to do. It was going to be a great battle. It has been a great battle. Two good players going at it head to head. I would change it slightly. I'd go and put Lee around Kasumo just to make sure that he doesn't pick up all those second balls. I'd go and put him around him. Okay, go and just play around him. When we're in possession of it, can you drop either side of him and maybe just drop Cannon a little bit, or vice versa, put Cannon in there. It doesn't really matter. Just somebody on him to stop him picking up so many second balls.
Yeah, he's very dynamic in his use of the ball. He looks to get forwards. He'll carry the ball forwards too. As here at Huddersfield again, and looking threatening. There's a good surge by the centre-back Pearson, good ball wide. Chance now for the cross, driven into the goal mouth, and Dobson gets a foot to it. Helped on more by McLean, but it's still in the area as Kane on the right swings it across to the far post, and it's great defending that to send it away. Barnett getting underneath Wiles and managing to head it behind for the corner. But that was crucial then, because Wrexham again under the car, short corner get taken. Wrexham weren't alert to it. Kasumu swings it to the far post. Big header by Palmer. Nodded back in. Palmer mishits his clearance, but at the second attempt he gets a foot to it, and Okonkwo keeps it in. Mullins sprinting at the last defender. Okonkwo realises and pulls a kick for him, and it's a beauty. And Mullins running onto this left channel. He'll cut back on his right foot in the box. Tries to finish, squirts it wide. But the threat of Mullen there.
Yeah, quality. We saw it done last year away at Stockport when the keeper gets it from any set piece. Mullins on his bike straight away, and what he does is he runs towards the right hand corner, a check, and knows that the keeper's going to put it in that left hand channel to create his own space, and then he's in on it. He's 1v1 against Turton, and he just doesn't manage to just shift the ball out of his feet enough, and so he's hitting from right in between his feet, and he just can't get that curl around. He just needs to shift it out to the right hand side to then bring it around into that far corner.
It didn't seem to quite shift it out of his feet enough, so he's sort of squirting it across the defender. Isn't able to get it back inside the far post. They've got a stoppage now because Turton, having tracked back, is receiving treatment. He did well, Turton, but he's had a sprint with Paul Mullin, and now he needs a break, quite frankly.
Well, he's only played a couple of games this season, so the way that this game has been played, the intensity, the pace of it, probably just catching up on coming up to 70 minutes.
Yeah, he's coming in for the injured Lasse Sorensen, who went off early on Saturday.
Just going back to that set piece there where we were able to clear. Ollie Palmer's the one again that heads it out of his box, and so this is a time when Parkinson has to think, do I leave him in there and have him play 2 games in the week and we'll worry about Saturday later, or do I make the change to freshen it up and bring on Fowle? But can I trust him at such a young age to do that job of dropping in there and picking up and heading heading the balls out of our box.
But Brodie Spencer has come on for Turton, and he'll fill in as a right wing back. I thought Turton did well, to be honest, getting forwards and defending, but he's off now, and it's a goal kick to Huddersfield. Lonvike, who got booked for time wasting, is now fiddling around with the ball. He works it square to his keeper, who can drill it clear. O'Connell judges that well and heads it partly away. Dobson gets it well. Cannon does well to get to the third ball, I guess, and work it back to Barnett. His clearance is blocked by Miller. O'Connell then launches it long. Mullen was offside. Palmer gets up, can't quite get a touch on it, and then offside's given. Again, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one, I've got to be honest. But the attendance today, 12,894. Away supporters, 1,272. Lonvike to the halfway line. Kasumu again has space to turn. Feeds it forwards. It's worked back to the halfway line. Pearson on his right foot drills it in, and it's worked back to him. Wrexham again keeping that mid block, keeping their shape. Neat little ball inside by Kane, who's been very tidy in the centre of midfield. Chance to cross now. Sweeps it in. Good headed away by O'Connell. Cannon's challenging on the edge of the area. Huddersfield feel it's handball. Referee thinks not. It would have been accidental, I think, as it bounced up off the pitch. Barnett stands it up long. Huddersfield have a man down injured on the edge of Wrexham area, as the header from Lonvike is handled well by Kasumu, and they got the ball back. And the injured player, Ward, is up now. Kasumu on the edge of his area again. Works out wise. Huddersfield tried a big ball over the top. It's a nice idea for Ward, who's recovered miraculously. That's why the Wrexham fans are whistling. He's turned nicely, gets past Scar, but comfortable take at the near post for Okonkwo.
Yeah, good hands. Really good hands. Came in at pace. Doesn't fumble it, just catches it straight away. Good.
Yeah, he's he's good in those sort of situations. Fielded a lot of those at Rotherham, didn't he? Long clearance now, but only picks out Lees, who heads it deep into Wrexham's half. Scar brings it down. Knocks it over the top, looking for Palmer. Lonvike gets there first, heads it wide, and Palmer makes sure it's a Wrexham throw by blocking him off. So throw 15 yards out. Barnett waits for bodies to get up the pitch. Cannon is offering on the corner of the box. Wrexham send out some more subs. Fowle's been warming up for quite a while. Brunton Bolton now going out. Reven has come back in, and there is activity on the bench. Reven and Rathbone have come back in. Barnett now under pressure. He's pulled to the ground, is he? Ref gives that one. Looked pretty obvious, to be fair, but I thought he wasn't going to. So free kick 25 yards out. Right flank, chance to rip something in. Such a tight game. The set piece can decide it. And the centre-backs are going up for Wrexham. It's Elliot Lee on it. Right-footed option. Huddersfield hold the line just inside the box. Everyone back for them. One player wall. As Lee signals. The referee is stopping the taking because he's explaining the rules of handball to the one-man wall. Another thing I never fully understand. Let's just crack on with it. He knows. Lee is still signalling. And now he swings it in, looking at the far post. It's headed across the face and cleared from under the line. Scar got first contact, nodded it down. It looked like a tap in. And I think it's Kasumu again. He just lunged in front of an open goal and volleyed it clear for a corner.
Well, it looks from here, doesn't it, that it's going in, and he's just dropping back in that 6-yard line. Nobody reacts quick enough to Dan Scar's header back into the mix.
Corner, stood up to the far post, keeper punches it well through a crowd. Comes up to Dobson again, the crowd tell him to shoot. He's not going to, because he's got options out wide. Barnett with an early cross. Decent, Scar beaten to it. Now on the edge of the area. Just didn't bounce right for Cannon to bring it down, hit it. But Lee very quickly gets it out to McLean. Kasumu fouled him. McLean back to Lee, who sweeps it to the far post. That's got too much on it. Wrexham have a shout for a penalty as Yeah, O'Connor backs into his man, but he doesn't really ask much of a question. It's not a penalty. And here comes Ollie Rathbone. And it'll be Andy Cannon who is replaced. Another good run out by Cannon. But in the second half, he's not been able to influence things as much. Rathbone, we saw what he could do on Saturday, couldn't we?
He'll certainly bring energy to this last 20 minutes. Really good at stealing the ball, reading where it's going to drop. Second balls.
And he leads the press so well, doesn't he, in terms of getting us on the front foot. Long ball forwards, O'Connor wins that well. Throw in to Huddersfield, about 15 yards short of the halfway line. As Michael Duff has just gone up into his dugout. Oh, I thought he was going to have a chat with some subs. He's just gone for a sit down, it looks like, actually. Pearson with the throw then on the halfway line. It's Wrexham win it back. Dobson feeding it on, asking a lot of Rothman, who does brilliantly and is tripped by Miller. And yeah, there has to be a yellow there. Again, the rest body language didn't think he was going to, but that's another yellow.
But I thought he wasn't going to give it.
Yeah.
The ref just waited maybe just to see if it played into anything, but it's a definite yellow in my book. Rathbone breaking from midfield, gets the toe in first.
It's got to be. He's tearing through the middle. If he gets there first, and he's running at the heart of Huddersfield's defence. All of Yorkshire's the same to me. So free kick in the centre circle. Huddersfield holding a line just outside the box. O'Connor floats it in there. Scar is there. He's bumped off the ball. And Miller wants to run it behind for a corner and a goal kick, and he gets lucky, really. Barnett has come together with him and stayed down. Oh, he's signalling that he's hurt. The Wrexham players are signalling to the bench. We don't want that to happen. It was Barnett trying to sneak around Miller. Barnett's up on his feet again now. Yeah, whether Miller just caught him there, actually. Looking at the replay, I don't know.
Did he just land on him a little bit? I
Maybe
don't know.
so, yeah. But he has got off. Doesn't need treatment. Goal kick then. Lonwijk again squares it, and it's driven through the middle. Elliot Lee's ball heads it forwards. Kasumu does well to beat Rathbone in the air. Hooked on down the flank by Wiles. Barnett is looking fine as he works it back to Okonkwo. He's just feeling his hip when he was hurt, but he's okay now. Mullin tries to help it on, penalised for making a back for the defender. Free kick in the halfway line. Ref says a rolling ball. So we got 14 minutes left as the ball fed back into the Huddersfield half. Lees now. See strikers looking to put pressure on. Ball squared over to the right hand side. Driven long again by Pearson. Looking down the flank. Spencer can't win it, and O'Connor gets rid of it and looks for Mullin, who backs into Lonwijk. Lonwijk does well to get a foot in around the side of him though. But then Kasumu for once is not accurate. Although fair play, Miller will chase O'Connell, and O'Connell's clearance is blocked by Miller and ricochets for Wiles to start another attack. Kasumu now 35 yards off, out. Ball goes back to the halfway line. It's picked up on the left. Wiles once more, scurrying down the flank. Lets Miller take over, taking on Barnett. Sweeps in a good cross as well. The ball's held up and hit by Ward. Can't get it on target though from the penalty spot. Didn't hit it with a great deal of power. It's been a game of very few chances, hasn't it? Just that one moment we need of luck or quality, just something.
Well, both teams have been defensively very, very good. They're filling holes, they're winning first duels. Very difficult to break down. Really good first touch there by Ward. Little turn, just can't arc his foot around it to bring it back into that far post. But very few chances just because of how good both defences have been.
Okonkwo knocks it long once more. Palmer flicks it on well, but it's intercepted once more by Lonwijk. Poor ball forwards by Miller though, and Rathbone's quick to backheel it to Barnes. He chips down the flank looking for Mullin. Just too much on it. Lees has to drive it out for a throw-in. Taken quickly. It's a foul throw, is it? Not given. Chipped into the box. Palmer's after it. Beaten in the air. Well done, Pearson. And Mullin, it just dropped beyond his reach. Ball's cleared. O'Connell with an awkward touch. He's been and it's ricocheted dangerously for Wrexham 2-on-2 break, and Huddersfield got more players roaring up unmarked at the far post. If they can deliver from the left-hand side, Wiles drives it in. Good defending by Scar. And now Wrexham can break. Driven over the top for Mullen to chase, shoulder to shoulder with Lonvik, who at full stretch as well to get it back to his keeper. And now the game is so stretched. Kasumu gets it in loads of space. Mo Farl is stripped off and ready to go, as Huddersfield slow it down again. 0-0, 79 minutes played. Is there going to be a breakthrough? It's Pearson on the right. Again, patient from Huddersfield. Lonvik lopes into the Wrexham half, 30 yards out, floats it across to the right-hand side. Spencer now has got Kane offering inside him and feeds him 25 yards out. Back to Pearson, the centre-back, who's been adventurous in his second half. He's going to have to go back into his own half, though. Wrexham looking organised. It's driven long by Lees. Scar heads it clear. Now Dobson can turn on the edge of the area. Finds Lee deep in his own half. Helps her on quickly to McLean, but McLean was on his heels rather and doesn't receive it. And good ball inside by Pearson. Good work on the edge of the area by Warden. It drops kindly for Rajkovic, but good work by Okonkwo. I mean, I think Wrexham had a case for a free kick on the edge of the day as O'Connell was challenged, but Okonkwo was very alert to come out and save at the feet. If that was the referee given it, it certainly is letting O'Connell get up. I think he's given a drop ball, hasn't he? So if it had gone in, it would have been a goal.
Yeah, I think he was just making sure that O'Connell was okay. 50-50 on the edge of the box that just squirted out right into the path of the striker. But like you said, Okonkwo, really alert, hasn't had a great deal to do. Ooh, he just does. It's a firm tackle, shall we say.
Now then, here's O'Connor standing up a diagonal for Palmer, who wins it well. Rathbone's after this. Lees heads it away as the keeper was coming for it. Hacked away by Miller. Good work again by Palmer. And Wrexham concede a throw halfway up the half. Is this Fowles' chance to come on? As Huddersfield just wasting time. Wrexham fans behind me hoarsely shouting, "Get him on!"
Well, it's the first time that diagonal ball for Palmer has worked. He's had a good first contact on it. Palmer dropped it into Rathbone's path when he's making that forward run off that second ball. Just dropped a little bit too far away, and Lees did the mopping up for Huddersfield.
So foul on for Palmer in the 82nd minute. Throw in to Huddersfield in their own half. Down the line, bounces through. Scar launches it back down the flank and puts it out of play for another throw in to Huddersfield, about 10 yards further forwards. Just looking at Palmer. Is that? No, it isn't. I was going to say, is that the longest he's lasted? Yes, there is actually. That's the longest he's lasted in a game this season. That's Huddersfield now going to make a double change. And off will come Adukovic. On will come Rhys Evans. Oh, sorry, Rhys Healy. And on comes Evans, Anthony Evans. Who did he replace? I'm getting weird at substitutions. I should be good at substitutions, and I can't handle them now. Some guy. He came up with some guy, didn't he?
Herbie Kane.
Fair enough.
I think it's
come off. He'd be furious. I bet Herbie goes bananas afterwards. Man, I don't know why I said that, but I'm glad I did. Throwing the halfway then eventually for Huddersfield. I should have had a bit of a chunk on, but yeah, this is so tight, this game. Throwing taken, and immediately Rathbone is hassling and Farl trying to battle away and win it. Good tackle by Farl. Throwing the halfway, and the Wrexham fans enjoyed that. They were keen to see him get on. And he's immediately showing that he can do a job without the ball, which is, of course, a big part of Palmer's game, isn't it? Throw-in taken and towards the edge of the area and brought under control by Healy. Ball stabbed back in, but Wrexham intercepted. Now it's Mullin deep in his own half, turning and looking for options. He doesn't like what he sees inside, so he looks to go outside and drills it long. Look at that foul, who's sprinting at Lees. Lees gets there first and has to put it out. That's injected something into the crowd.
Yeah, you sort of think Paul Mullin's gone back into danger, but he does really well in the end, just stays calm, finds the pass, and fouled as well in the end to force that error.
Here's O'Connor in his own half, working it forwards. Lee, Rathbone's making a run on Mark, Dobson rather, through the middle. Ball back to Scar once more, helps it on. Rathbone on the halfway line, right hand side. Barnett's asking for the chip. Rathbone delivers. Has he put too much on it? Barnett's after that. He's kept her in and hooked her in the goalmouth and foul. Tried to get across his man, didn't quite manage it. And it's a corner, is it?
Offside.
Yeah. Oh, offside. Barnett ran offside
Barnett
and then came back.
Crawl out of the cop where he's ended up in. Unfortunately, he's as he's come back on, the clearance, or the first one from Fowler has just got dropped to him.
There's nothing worse than an alert linesman, is there?
A good one, you mean?
Yeah.
A good linesman.
Yeah, that's another word for it. Yeah. Shocking. Long kick forwards is flicked on well. And now Ward's as well to get round the outside of Scar, but O'Connell is there as well, trying to stop him cross. He feeds it back into midfield. Helped on, that's a sloppy ball. And Rathbone has created a loose one. Lee feeds it forwards. Mullin pairing down the left-hand side now. Not much support. He takes on his man, checks back, and now is McLean to feed on the left. McLean back to Elliot Lee. Back into the centre circle. Huddersfield have really dropped deep in midfield, and Wrexham got space here. Scar helping it quickly onto O'Connor. McLean wants it, gets it. Lee's inside, he feeds it on. McLean just blocked off the ball by Spencer, so the return ball isn't on. Dobson swings it back to O'Connell. O'Connell in his own half, being put under pressure by Healy, squares it. O'Connor now. Duffy going nuts on the sides of the pitch at his team as O'Connor looks at a run from McLean. Difficult pass, doesn't play it. Wrexham patient, just trying to draw Huddersfield out. The strikers oblige. Dobson chips it now, looking for McLean on the left. Lovely ball. McLean brings it inside. Lays it off to Lee. O'Connor back to McLean. Lovely first time ball. It's nice. O'Connor in a crossing position. Feeds it in first time. Pillar back for Mullin. Again, Kasumi's there to intercept. Ward now playing a dangerous game against Dobson. In the end, he feeds it forwards. Healy mugged by O'Connell. And that's a cracking tackle by Rathbone. Ref's given a foul. Well, you can hear what the crowd think of that. I mean, the ref will argue he's got a bit of the man as well as the ball. He's certainly got a lot of the ball, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's never a foul for me, but I might change my mind once I watch it back. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, looks to me he's got all ball there. Very harsh on Ollie Rathbone, in my opinion.
I think that's a pull on. I think that's a pull on Scar when he first goes in, anyway, or O'Connell. I
mean, I think the ref's justification would be maybe Rathbone's trailing leg has hit him.
That's right.
Bit of a scissor tackle. But having said that, how much of it was deliberate and how much was just a very strong tackle? And your trailing leg's got to go somewhere. Anyway, here's Huddersfield out surging to the edge of the area. Important tackle by Rathbone. Ref's okay with that one. The ball's played back into the edge of Wrexham's area, headed away firmly. Mullin on the chase with Lees once more. He anticipates the back pass. Nearly latched onto that, but it was driven well back to the keeper. Now it's O'Connell in the air. Ball drops loose. Fed forward. Scar's there. Again, knocks it long and high. Foul backing into Lonvike does well to create a loose ball. Throw into Wrexham.
Yeah, we just saw the ball down the channel, down this side of the pitch, where he can get, where Mullin is onto it, and he's had no joy out of Lonvik, has he? But this side, where he's had Pearson, he's able to make that pace and get onto that end of that ball. And this channel was the one for Mullin to play in more, I think, than that other channel.
Absolutely. It's only late on, maybe, we really started to get decent balls from to run onto, frankly, in the second half. As here now is O'Connell, poor pass. He's had a poor game with the ball at his feet, O'Connell. Sometimes wonder if he's a bit happier coming from that central defensive position where he can look both ways than when he's a bit wide and he's got to play angled passes. The ball's not long. McLean gets up, beaten in the air. O'Connor traces back to cover, put under pressure. He's lost it in a dangerous part of the pitch. Healy bursts in the box. Good work by Scar. Gets a foot in. It's not back in again. And Healy hits a shot, but I think McLean got the pace off it. And it's a simple take for Okonkwo, who bowls her out to Lee. Tuned to the last 2 minutes. The crowd are desperate for something to happen for Wrexham. They're angry, as are Mullen and Barnett, when the ball isn't played forwards by Lee. But that's a glorious ball by Dobson, who tries to flick it inside Miller. Miller does really well to get ahead to it, and is cute then to draw contact from behind by Barnett and win a free kick.
Yeah, it's so frustrating from a Wrexham perspective, but really good defending. It's a really nice ball out from Dobson, and Barnett just can't quite get that touch to stick. I don't know whether he's just tried to knock it over his head initially, but just doesn't quite work. I think it's Miller, isn't it, who does really well, and he's been brilliant against Barnett in particular in the second half.
Well, when two teams match up like this, individual battles are so important. Barnett won the first half against Miller, but I think Miller certainly has won the second half. It's been a brilliant battle to watch. Ball driven over the top then. O'Connell nods it down. Dobson quick again. Feeds out to the left-hand side. McLean, first time towards Farl. Not accurate. Farl again gets a good tackle in. That will ricochet for a, well, Wrexham throw. I thought that came off Pearson last. And McLean is stopped from picking the ball up by Spencer. For me, that's a yellow. I mean, not given. Farl receives. Scoops it back to Lee. Only 3 minutes of added time. I thought there might be more. Dobson helping it on to O'Connell. Mullins looking to make a run. O'Connell switches it across to McLean. O'Connor now in midfield. Lee is asking for a good ball by O'Connor. Tries to flick it on. He finds Mullin. Sweeps it quickly to Barnett. Now 3 men to aim at. Plays it in early. Mullin can't get control of his header. It was too high. He was unmarked 6 yards out. The 2 men at the far post were goal side to their markers, but Mullin couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, it's the first chance for Lee to get up and ahead and link in with Mullin. It's the first time we've seen him ahead of the ball, really. And he's able to do a little over. Mullin out to Barnett, and it's Mullin going in just a fraction too high. Can't get over the top of it with his head, and it goes up and over the bar.
Yeah, I thought that was it. That was the moment, but not to be. Really nice play from Elliot Lee. Finds Barnett out on that right-hand side, like Andy says. And it, again, you know, that quality he puts in, we haven't seen it too much the second half, but he does it there. And it's a difficult ask for Paul Mullin in the end.
Here he is again, though. Farl knocks it down. Back to Farl on the left. Only Mullin in the middle. Farl pulls it back and, I thought he found him. Rathbone surges. Mullin squeezes out wide and it's hoofed clear by Miller. Scar nods it square. O'Connor. Can Wrexham manage one big last push? O'Connor deep in his own half. We're halfway through the 3 added minutes. O'Connor left-footed, drives down the line. That's over-ambitious, but 2 defenders go for it and they head it out for a throw 30 yards out. McLean keen for the ball to come back quickly to him. Huddersfield's bench aren't going to oblige naturally, but he's got it now. Lee offers. We're nearly into the last minutes of the added 3. McLean is looking for movement, throws it towards Mullin. Does well to get a touch to it. Foul beaten to it. Missed clearance. It's poked up in the air. Rathbone will get there. Heads it back to the edge of the area. Foul wrestling does well to nod it in the box. Smashed out for another throw to Wrexham. About 25 yards out. Lee is quick to go for the replacement ball. O'Connor makes a run for him. Lee leaves it in the end. And it's played back to McLean. McLean gets a cross in, which is blocked by Spencer. Throw in right by the corner flag. 30 seconds left now. McLean throwing it in. Lee turns, good tackle. And the rest penalised him. Just left a foot in as it was cleared by the excellent Kasumu, who has really been terrific protecting that defence. And, well, certainly I think by the time I take this, the 3 minutes will be up.
It's been a really good game.
Oh, yeah.
As a 0-0, I don't often say that when you don't get any joy at each end in the goal mouths. We've not had a great deal of excitement, have we, at both ends? But it's been a real good game. Real good, high quality, 2 really good League One teams having a go at each other and coming out all square.
Absolutely. Final whistle. It's 0-0. I don't think we can really argue against that outcome. Both sides defended superbly and deserved their clean sheets. Chances few and far between. That chance in the 91st minute for Mullen, who just couldn't get on top of it, and Barnett swept the ball in. And Wrexham frustrated. Wiles had a chance in the second half that he lashed over the bar. There were spells of good pressure from either side, but ultimately, 0-0 is reasonable enough. There was an early opportunity when Wrexham ripped a good ball into the box that nobody could quite get onto. But it has to be said, very little in terms of goal-mouth action. Wrexham fought hard, but it was so tight. Huddersfield and Wrexham matching each other up, and it just became a battle of individuals against each other. The centre-backs were on top. Palmer battled away. Mullen, especially in the latter stages, made some great runs, but we didn't feed him enough really in terms of good quality service. Dobson worked some nice passes around from the centre of the pitch, but ultimately it was a goalless draw. Barnett on the right really looked threatening in the first half, but Miller was excellent marking him and causing problems in the second, blocking him off and getting forwards himself. McLean strong in the first half, wasn't able to make much impact in the second either. And it was a battle. It was a scrap. I mean, looking at the statistics, we had 50.1%, Huddersfield 49.9%. Huddersfield had more shots, 9 to our 5, and we only had 1 on target. But we put a lot of pressure on them. 28 clearances by Huddersfield to our 17. 15 headed clearances to our 7. 4 block crosses to our 1. So, it was a battle, and in the end, 0-0, a reasonable reflection, I think, of that scoreline. Final whistle, full analysis to come tomorrow, but with the final score of Wrexham 0, Huddersfield Town 0, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.